Instead, I'm going to read you some of the latest news. Here's one that should break your heart. Congress lifts horse slaughter ban. You're not going to believe this, but the Thanksgiving holiday saw Congress lifting a 5-year-old ban on domestic horse slaughter. The reason cited for ending the horse slaughter ban? Well, members of Congress who decided to end the prohibition on domestic horse slaughtering relied heavily on research provided in June by the GAO. Well, I don't want to look into this. All you got to know is that they're killing horses again. They are killing horses again, and it was done under Obama's watch. Obama legalizes horse slaughter for human consumption. Horse slaughter plants are legal again in the United States of America. Restrictions on horse meat processing for human consumption have been lifted by Obama over Thanksgiving. In a bipartisan effort, the House of Representatives and the United States Senate approved the Conference Committee report on Spending Bill H.R. 2012, which, among other things, funds the U.S. Department of Agriculture. While you were celebrating Thanksgiving, President Barack Hussein Obama signed a law allowing Americans to kill and eat horses. Essentially, one turkey was pardoned in the presence of worldwide media, while in the shadows, buried under pages of fiscal regulation, lobbyists snuck in a clause permitting millions of horses to be sentenced to death. Horse slaughter has been prohibited in the U.S., as funding for inspections of horses in transit and at slaughterhouses was non-existent. And this worked out well because the horse meat cannot be sold for human consumption without such inspections. However, they put it back in. It is now legal to slaughter horses for you and anyone else to eat. Notwithstanding that 70% of Americans oppose horse slaughter, that President Obama made a campaign promise to permanently ban horse slaughter and exports of horses for human consumption. You may not know this, but horses can be sent to Mexico and Canada. The fact of the matter is there's documentation of animal cruelty, slaughterhouse stench, fluid runoff, and negative community impact. It's a heartbreak. Wyoming State Representative Stu Wallace and her pro-slaughter group now estimate that between 120,000 and 200,000 horses will now be killed for human consumption per year, and that Oregon, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, Georgia, and Missouri are considering opening horse slaughter plants. During these trying times, isn't it comforting to know that the only thing the criminals called Democrats and the criminals called Republicans can agree on is that Americans need to kill horses? It's quite a statement about the government that we have elected. Obama legalizes horse slaughter for human consumption. You heard it first tonight on the Savage Nation. It's quite heartbreaking for those of you who love animals, as I do. You say, well, what's the difference between a horse and a cow? Well, in theory, there's no difference between a horse, a cow, a flea, and a human. But as you well know, there's a difference between a horse, a flea, a cow, and a human. That's if you're civilized and you understand there's a difference between a dog, a horse, a flea, and a human.